का सागर है, सबकी आत्मा शांति का सागर है, सबकी आत्मा ज्ञान का सागर है, सबकी आत्मा ज्ञान का सागर है, सबकी आत्मा सत्य का सागर है, सागर है, सागर है। अनुभव कर लो, अनुभव कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। 20 मिनट बस ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। सुबह शाम बस ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। आसन प्राणायाम कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। भावातीत ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। अनुभव कर लो, अनुभव कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। भावातीत ध्यान कर लो।
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः, गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं, शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च, व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं, गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथाश शिष्यं, श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथाश पद्मा पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं, तं त्रोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि।
जय गुरुदेव अनिता जी।
जय गुरुदेव सुनीता।
जय गुरुदेव अनिता जी।
तो
आज का सेशन स्टार्ट करें मैम?
जी जी
जय गुरुदेव to one and all who have been in this session. घनश्याम जी आप हैं आज?
जी दीदी, जय गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव घनश्याम जी। So today we will start our session chapter 6. As we have finished the versions or verse till 5, we will do the verse 6, 7, 8. अभी हम माला करेंगे वर्स 5, 4 and 5.
ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहे तेजस्विनामदेतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच यदा हीनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्वनुसज्जते सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धो आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः। ओम।
जय गुरुदेव। धन्यवाद। अभी हम श्लोक 6 पढ़ेंगे और उसके बाद अनिता जी आप उसका फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ पढ़ेंगे ना?
Yes, yes. I'll do the sixth verse. May I request you to do the Sanskrit, either you or Ghanshamji, whoever does the Sanskrit.
I will do.
दीदी
Thank you.
I will
Thank you,
do.
Sunita.
मैं श्लोक पढ़ूंगी। मैं शेयर करती हूँ स्क्रीन शेयर करती
ओम। बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्।
जय गुरुदेव। I will repeat the verse with a pause.
Right.
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्। जय गुरुदेव।
Jai Gurudev, he who has conquered his self by his self alone is himself his own friend. But the self of him who has not conquered his self will behave with enmity like a foe. Sunita, you'll be displaying verse 6. The acquisition by the mind.
I'm displaying now.
Okay, I'll wait, Sunita.
Is it not seen on the screen, ma'am? I'm already displaying it.
I cannot see. Anyways, then I'll read. If it's not visible to me. It's yes, it is. It is. Thank you. The acquisition by the mind, the self in its relative aspect of the state of self-realization or transcendental consciousness is described here as a conquest. The lower self has conquered the higher self. Through this conquest, the individual mind has gained the status of cosmic mind or pure consciousness. This cosmic intelligence then becomes, yes, I'll go through mine this thing, no problem, Sunita. This cosmic intelligence then becomes the basis of the whole of practical life. It supports and gives strength to all levels of relativity. The mind during the meditation reaches the state of transcendental being, and coming out of the transcendent into the field of relative life remains saturated with being. With constant practice of transcendental meditation, here comes a point where the saturation of the mind with being becomes permanent and continues without interruption throughout all experiences in the relative world, with the result that the self is experienced as separate from activity, and the binding influence of action is neutralized. The conscious mind of man acting in the world then acts in freedom, supported and protected by being. This is how self, having been conquered by the self, befriends the self. The lower self and the higher self belong to one indivisible reality, which is inclusive of both the transcendental and relative aspects of life. Life, brothers, bound off by natural affinity of blood. They support each other in every way. This is one aspect of their relationship. But there is another. When a difference arises between brothers, they can become deadly enemies. This happens when the self has not conquered the self. If a man has not begun to meditate and has not consciously realized the self, if his mind has not reached the realm of transcendental being, then it will not have attained the status of cosmic intelligence, either temporary or permanently. This means that his lower self is not familiar with the higher self, and there is no coordination between the two. The one has not accepted the other. They stand opposed to each other in their essential nature, for one is relative and the other transcendental. In the field of relativity, they exist as enemies. The lower self is always acting through the senses, encouraging them and enjoying the variety of objective experience, thus preventing the higher self from being effective in the relative field of existence and allowing to retain, as it were, confined in the field of transcendent. In return, the higher self also behaves as an enemy to the lower self. It does not save the self from the fast grip of the ever-changing life of relative existence, but allows it to remain within the cycle of birth and death. The higher self does not provide the unlimited energy, wisdom, creativity, and happiness, which alone will give peace and abundance to the lower self. Conquest of the self by the self and the conquest of the self by the self amounts to the same thing. It can be understood in either way as long as the conquest denotes the union of the two or the merger of one into the other. The merger of the self into the self takes place in the state of transcendental consciousness and becomes permanent in cosmic consciousness. The self finds itself with one, with one, with the self. This is the state where the self and the self support each other so intimately that they do not exist independently of each other. The next verse elaborates the inner and outer condition of the realized man, of one who has conquered. Jai Gurudev. So with this, we have a short summary for the verse 6, chapter 6. For those who have conquered the mind, then the mind is their friend. For those who have failed to conquer the mind works as an enemy. Point 1, we dissipate or we spend lot of time, lot of energy on the thoughts about people whom we perceive as enemies. In this, Maharishi very beautifully explains that the lot of time of ours is spent in perceiving the person we don't like, and we feel that person is very harmful to us. But we do not understand here that the biggest enemies are within ourselves. Our own hatred, the power of anger, the power of greed, the power of lust, all these are envies in our mind. And they are so pernicious. They make our life so miserable because of these things in our mind, which are created by our negative thoughts. We start hating somebody. And when we do that, in that process, we start gaining stress, tension, anxiety. So main thing to tell here is, if we conquer the mind and make mind as a friend, and when we can conquer the mind is when we are in that steadfastness and in that state of positivity, then only we can conquer the mind. Otherwise, we will go on blaming other people for our misery. We will blame other people for the things that they are not responsible for us. So here it is very nicely said, all the illnesses, everything that is caused by the negativity, it is caused by all that thing that we harbor. And how do we harbor in ourselves? Here the thoughts play an immense important role. So the misery will only cease when we have the positive thought. Another point over here is, when we nourish hatred in our mind, it damages us more than it will damage the object that we hate. We think that by hating, we are doing a great job because we are hating and somebody is damaged by it. On the contrary, when we develop that quality, we are hating more than the object that we decided to hate. So we should not come under the sway of those senses, which at that momentary time take you and lead you to that level. On the contrary, we must try, endeavor to bring under control. And how would we do that? That we become best friends with our mind. And we change our intellect in such a way. And how would we change that? We would change it through meditation. So the most important thing that Maharishi gave us was a key in every verse, in everything that we read in Bhagavad Gita, that we establish ourselves in that yogastha situation when we go through the TM or when we do meditation. And lastly, the most important thing is that mind of ours being the most powerful machine in our body. So it depends on us where we take it, how we take it, and it will all depend on how we are. Now, all this verse is told by Shri Krishna Bhagwan to Arjuna about the potential harm and the benefits of the mind. So we see here that he is preparing Arjuna's thoughts, how he is so nicely changing and giving example how thoughts will change, and those thoughts, when they change, will also change his mind. And the mind that he has, that I'm not going to do this, I am still, it will be changed. And this is a great skill of Shri Krishna Bhagwan that we are going to learn in this verse. Now, in this verse, we have chapter verse 6. I'm giving you a very nice scientific research about it. And that scientific research says, he who has conquered his self by himself alone is himself his own friend. This verse is verified by scientific research through Maharishi Transcendental Meditation, and it gives us greater ability to bring the inner self to healthy expression, enhanced inner well-being, increased inner calm and tranquility, increased contentment, increased self-actualization. So these qualities are developed through transcendental meditation, and this has been proven by scientific research, because there is then a more internal locus of control on one's own self. And when we have that control on one's own self, then we can conquer, like in the verse it is said in the last line. If you go through and see it, how beautifully it says, independent, that the self who conquers the mind, he's the one who's successful in life. So this is all about verse 6. If there's anybody who would like to ask questions, and we can go ahead, and if you think this verse is clear, Sunita.
Jai Gurudev. So, any questions from your side?
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, ma'am.
Jai Gurudev, Sunita.
Jai
Thank you.
Gurudev.
I'm just thinking of Maharishi's expression that he always uses, the world is as we are. And that's what the simplicity of it and the grandness of it, that as is our nervous system, so is our world. So it's our main responsibility just to take care and clean our nervous system. And then there's another point there that I feel that Anita brought out so nicely about, it's almost like we have the inner self and the outer self, and it's cosmic company, really. And, you know, it's a great, great gift that we've been given in life, that we are never alone and we always have the greater self with us. So to rise to that level, to really make use of that gift that we've been given. And just one more point is how Anita was saying, it reminds me of Maharishi always saying about the transformation of poison into nectar. It's sort of the same energy, but we have that free will in order to make it nectar or poison, and to make use of that free will to give that energy direction in the most subtle way, in that we are, I hesitate to use that word control, but by means of surrender, we allow that greater self to take control. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharishi. Jai Gurudev. I'm so happy you joined. What a pleasure. Can you hear me, Maharishi?
Thank you. It's sort of breaking up from here because I'm far, far away, but very near. Thank you. It's wonderful to be able to join. I may need to leave early, but it's such an honor to be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Sunita?
Jai Gurudev. We will proceed with the next verse, that is verse 7. I will read the Sanskrit 2 times and then I will read the paragraph also. Yes, Anita? Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु तदा मानापमानयोः जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः. For him who has conquered his self, who is deep in peace, the transcendent self is steadfast in heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, in honor and disgrace. In verse 4 of this chapter, Sri Krishna Bhagavan made a distinction between the realm of worldly activity and that of being. In verses 5 and 6, he showed the way to establish coordination between the two. In the present verse, he describes the condition of the mind in this state, how one feels within when coordination between outer life and inner being is established. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says that one feels eternally peaceful, being immersed in the glory of Supreme. In this state, the whole life, with all its pairs of opposites, is permeated with the glory of the transcendent being. This state of eternal peace in bliss consciousness cannot be shaken by anything whatsoever. This verse emphasizes the resolute nature of the established intellect. In the following verse, the idea is developed and is elaborated into a description of the yogi who is united. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Sunita. So, in this verse 7, we have a short summary made for the verse. Now we come to the point where we talk about the yogis. Now, those people who have conquered the mind and they rise above the dualities. That's what Maharishi says. Those people who conquered the mind are in the steadfastness, as it has been mentioned. Here, they are above the dualities. Dualities here mentioned of the pain and the sorrow and the joy and the honor and the dishonor, and also about the heat and the cold. These are only told to us because of all these things happen on the perception of the senses. Now, the people, the yogis whom we specifically honor and specifically see that they are much above us, they are into that bliss, divine consciousness, they remain more peaceful and steadfast in their devotion to God. Because here, when the mind is not subdued, then a person chases the sensual perceptions. And for a person who has conquered the mind, then he is able to see these perceptions as only the bodily senses. They are different from the soul, the immortal soul. Thus he remains unmoved. Now see, so much has been told to us by Maharishi Ji in this commentary that we must also develop that quality where we can conquer the mind to be able to perceive things in such a way. Now, how do we perceive things? Here in this verse, it is mentioned that we perceive in two ways. The mind either goes in the realm of Maya or the mind goes in the realm of God consciousness or God realization. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan here says that yogi's mind become so much absorbed as they sit in the deep meditation because they are above all that dualities and they are in union with God. So when you are in union with God and then you are in such bliss and then nothing what happens there matters to you. So the state of eternal peace in bliss consciousness cannot be shaken by anything whatsoever if you are in the state of that transcendent being. Right? So now I'll go to the scientific research of verse 7, which says, "For him who has conquered his self, who is deep in peace, the transcendent self, is steadfast in heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, in honor and disgrace." This increased self-development through transcendental meditation has been proven by the scientific research of Maharishi's transcendental meditation that there will be increased integration of brain functioning, increased calm and tranquility, and increased field independence. Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Any questions?
Any point, Sunita, you can ask anybody to interact and share some points with each other.
Yes, anyone who would like to interact on this verse, please. Okay. So shall we proceed with the next verse, Anitaji?
I think it
Take
is
with us.
Sunita. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please.
Just one short comment that I love Maharishi's expression. There is nothing as other.
Yes.
Thank you. There's nothing as other.
There's only one, and that's the only one, and that's the self, and that's the one we are talking about, and that's the one we have. The self conquers the self.
Yes.
Anita, I find it very fascinating that it's actually when Maharishi speaks about renunciation, that it's that surrender, and it's not in terms of relinquishing anything, but it's almost like a cosmic investment.
Right.
You know.
Right. Though he does mention about the unconditional surrender, but that doesn't really mean that's exactly what you said. He does talk about surrender, but really,
Unconditional, exactly. Yes, that's when we transcend. We're actually letting go of the individual self and gaining the greater self.
yes, much. Yes, very much so.
Thank
Jai Gurudev. So shall we proceed with the next verse, Anitaji?
Yes, Sunita, please continue.
Yes. Verse 8, Sanskrit sloka I will read. Please read the English commentary now. I'll share the screen.
Yes, Sunita.
Atma kutastho vijitendriyah yukta ityuchyate yogi samaloshtasmakanchanaha Jnana vijnana truptatma kutasto vijitendriyaha yukta ityuchyate yogi samadostasmakanchanaha. Jai Gurudev.
That yogi is said to be united who is contented in knowledge and experience, unshakable master of the senses, who is balanced in experiencing earth, stone, or gold. Shri Krishna Bhawan brings out the two aspects of realization, the two aspects of becoming a yogi. The first is that of gaining a clear intellectual conception of the truth through a proper understanding of the reality, reached by listening, thinking, contemplating, and discriminating intellectually between its various aspects. This, however, satisfies only the mind. The other aspect is that of knowing reality by direct experience, which satisfies the heart. This is gained through transcendental meditation. Here Sri Krishna Bhagavan says that when the mind is satisfied by a completely clear intellectual conception of reality, and the heart is, can I read it here? And the heart is, okay, I'll try and read it from my this thing, is reached by the direct
Satisfied.
experience of his blissful, okay, satisfied by its direct experience of his blissful and eternal nature, then a man gains control, eternal
Gains
contentment.
eternal content.
Then only does he become firm in his own state of life. Such an unshakable nature always
Always
I,
behaves in the field of senses as a
mhm,
master of the senses and never as their slave. He is said
mm.
to be united and he is a yogi whose life is marked by a balanced state of mind throughout all experience in the field of diversity. Shall I continue, ma'am? Or if you have any
Yeah,
difficulty in
just
reading?
continue,
Okay,
Sunita.
okay, ma'am. This idea of balance in life will recur many times during the discourse. The repetition of this principle at short intervals indicates not only its intrinsic importance but its relevance to Arjuna's situation. At the same time, it brings home to him that whatever method the mind adopts in order to become established in reality, be it the path of action or that of renunciation. Once it becomes established, the infusion of being into the nature of the mind is the same and brings with it the same balanced vision, although they may differ in mode of life and manner of activity. Those who are realized have this in common. They always possess balanced understanding and vision. Having spoken of the realized man's inner state of mind and of his nature during experience of the outer world, the Sri Krishna Bhagavan in the following verse describes his behavior towards others in society. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, Sunita, thank you. Uh, well, to tell you that I am not in my hometown. I'm traveling. I'm in Jabalpur. And all my listeners should be happy to know that I'm in the Brahmastan of India in
Yes,
Jabalpur.
ma'am.
So here and there, sometimes the net comes and goes. Anyways,
No
we are
problem.
all prepared. So in the verse 8 now, we have a short summary. The yogis who are satisfied by knowledge and discrimination conquered their senses, remain undisturbed in all circumstances. So this verse beautifully translates and says that the power of discrimination, the power of choosing right and wrong, and the knowledge that they have gained, and they have conquered this, they have conquered their senses. Now, these remained yogis remain undisturbed in all circumstances. And then what happens? When we at that level have not reached there, we are disturbed many a times. And I've seen in our real life also, if somebody says something, it affects us so much. If somebody says something, it affects us. And then we want to be more impulsive, we want to reply, we want to go into greater um, situations where we are normally not guided by our proper mind because it has been not conquered, it has not had that experience of going towards betterment and peace. And then what happens? Our knowledge, the realization of our knowledge, and the internal awakening in us, the wisdom from within us, that is much lesser. When he explains about the lower self and the higher self, it means that awakening is much less, and that awakening is great in a yogi because he sees that all that energy that we have, it is for our evolution, and not he is not attractive by all the senses, the energy that is available, and he sees everything in relationship with God. Since everything belongs to God and all things belonging are meant for the service, then when we have this type of feeling, then we have that devotion in us, and we see ourselves from that perception, and we senses in regards to material energy and not senses seeking pleasures, not avoiding. We don't say that we avoid anything, but we take senses for that divine blissfulness and not for any material thing that happens in the world now. So, the control over the senses is exactly the level that we achieve in our devotion to Lord. And here, Shri Krishna Bhagwan has mentioned very clearly that the yogi who is united, who is contented in this knowledge and experience, that yogi has unshakable master of the senses, who is balanced in experiencing everything. When we talk about the earth, stone, or gold, he says all these material energies. He knows they are not for our personal use and pleasure. Everything is to attain the divine blissfulness. And this verse is marked by scientific research through Maharishi Transcendental Meditation, where we find there is improved academic performance, there is improved autonomic stability, increase of self-discipline, and enhanced inner well-being. And the most important thing that makes us very happy is that there is enhanced inner well-being, because everything we have seen, there has to be the inner awakening, inner wisdom, till the time we are not able to subdue our mind. so that inner awakening through Maharishi Transcendental Meditation that we all the time say, and the benefits that we derive is so immense that we have to be so regular in our program. And that's what is going to help us to go further in this direction. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Any questions related to this verse or anything you would like to share? Anyone in the group?
I would like to
Jai
add
Gurudev.
here that the things appear and look so simple when we receive that knowledge from Maharishi, and we understand when we read in Bhagavad Gita. And when I'm reading that, I do feel it is easy, but I can assure you it's not that easy to establish yourself and to bring your mind subdued in the love of God, in that bliss consciousness, and not in anything else, in the external pleasures. It is an endeavor on a part of on the path of a yogi, and also on the path of an individual who is moving towards the spiritual practice. And I don't think it is humanly possible for a very ordinary people like us. So when we read this, it does give us a feeling, and it gives us that power, at least to me. It gives that power. Oh, I must also understand, because we are all into that worldly pleasures, and we are living in it day and night, and to move. But at least I can speak on the level that we are trying our best to have the Bhagavad Gita classes, and to share some good knowledge between all of us, so that each one of us can be of some support and assistance to the another person to improve in life, to evolve in life. And that's how I take it, Bhagavad Gita classes. Otherwise, I'm no good. I'm just an ordinary person and all, but I have that great determination also. And I don't know what to say, but I love it. Even when I'm traveling, I've made myself available today, and of course on Sunday also. And I hope my group, Gita group, will appreciate that. I love to be with you all. And let's go on with chapter 6. But there has to be more interaction so that people can also sort of help us in our evolution. Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev Anitaji. Ma'am, you would like to share your points, ma'am?
If there's no one else making a comment, I don't want to take the time of someone else.
I would love to hear you, ma'am, please.
Thank you. Anita's words are so, so beautiful from the heart. So many things came to mind, but because I'm a Vata constitution, I forget it all. But I just want to say, Maharishi, the thing that fascinates me about this verse is what Maharishi says about dark and light, that 200% of life, that we shouldn't see the darkness as something negative, but it's just something that's bringing the positive to its 100%. And Maharishi says that happens at the dawn every day, that the light is challenging the dark. And this creates 200% of life. And that's what Maharishi wants us to culture. And that's what the meaning of the yogi is, that combination of, like Anita says, that balance. It's in the balance that's the significance, that we can harness all levels of life, and it's all one wholeness. And as far as Anita's talking about the desire to attain such a level and her humility there, I'm just thinking of Maharishi's always speaking about swinging from point to unbounded, and we give the impulse and we let go. So it's our challenge, and it's also our cosmic heritage that we are able to give that impulse, and then to surrender to God's grace or cosmic law that it carries out that impulse. And in that way, we culture our nervous system day by day, and not with impatience, but we do want to hurry towards the goal. So, but Maharishi says the goal is within. So there's nowhere to go. Just go within and then enjoy life. Maharishi's main emphasis was enjoy. Always at the end of any interview, he would always look at the person. Even there was an interview about a terrorism at one point, and Maharishi looked at him at the end and he just said, just enjoy. And it just shook us, because that is where the power lies. That's the beauty of transcending, is that our senses are then enlivened so that we can enjoy, but we can also give that impulse and then let go. Jai Gurudev. Thank you, Anita.
Beautifully shared.
Thank you, Maria. That was so beautiful. And you made us so much a participant in your conversation, and the beautiful points you come up of Maharishi. And it really makes us feel very, very much a family, getting together at one corner of the world from the other corner of the world. And this is what Maharishi Parivar is, Maharishi family is. And when we share his knowledge with each other, and we feel highly gratitude towards him for giving us what we are today, and we are really working on the path that he really wanted us to do. With all humble things, I can say all the mistakes that we must be making here and there, with due apologies, but we have an earnest effort to move on. Hope our group
Beautiful,
will
Anita.
appreciate that.
Anita,
Sometimes,
also
yes,
sorry,
Marcia.
I'm just thinking also, we remember what Maharishi says about being the candle in the dark room. The light that comes from that is so amazing. That's the miracle, isn't it? Even the tiny little points, it's like the mama therapy, that you just have that, you create that environment just through a few points around the earth. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you. So lovely. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything? Sunita, please, you can ask them.
Jai Gurudev, anyone would like to share your questions or any points that you would like to emphasize on, please?
Or even their personal experiences in the transition phase of evolution. Something.
Yes. Yes, anyone? Okay. Anitaji, shall we go for the next one also, or shall we, because it's just 8:20 now, and I
We
think
have some time. We can only do the reading. And Sunita, of the verse, is it going to be the 8th?
9th, ma'am.
9th. 9th. If it's
9th
going
is
to be the
also
9th, so you can be reading the 9th. I don't have, if on display I can read, I'll do that,
I
because
will
I
do the
don't
reading,
have.
ma'am. No
Okay,
problem. I'll do the
okay.
reading.
But we'll do the main points in the next session. We can do the Sanskrit shloka, the verse, and the commentary.
Yes.
And
Sure.
Sunita, you can do all three, and we can do the main points in our next Friday session. Thank you.
Yes, Anitaji. No problem. I'll just share this. तुह्नित्रायुत्यासि न मध्यस्तद्वेषबन्धुषु साधुष्यपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीना मध्यस्थद्वेषबन्धुषु साधुष्यपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते. Distinguished is he who is of even intellect among well-wishers, friends and foes, among the indifferent and the impartial, among hateful persons and among kinsmen, among the saintly as well as the sinful. Even intellect, because of this inner state of eternal contentment, the mind of a yogi abides in silence. Based on this silence, his intellect is even. This does not mean that he behaves to everyone in like manner. A yogi does not create confusion in the various fields of relationship by failing to recognize due differences. But among all the variety of relationships, his understanding based on the oneness of life does not waver. He remains of even intellect. A man who has balanced vision while experiencing objects has been declared a yogi in the previous verse. The balanced vision described in that verse belongs to a yogi, whether he has reached his state through the path of Sankhya or Karma Yoga. The present verse sets the standard for a yogi who is distinguished. Having so far devoted this chapter to describing all that the practice of meditation can accomplish for man, Sri Krishna Bhagavan in the following verses explains the details of the practice. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev Anitaji. You are on mute, ma'am.
Okay. And we can do the mala of the words
10 and 11.
8 and 9.
9 I have just read, ma'am.
Yes. So you can do mala of 8 and 9. So in the next session, we will do the Sanskrit of 10. Main points I'll do of 9,
9
right?
and 10 mala we will do, ma'am, because we discussed even 8, 9 and 10 mala. And then I will ask, we will have 10 minutes meditation. And then we will ask Ghanshyamji or Manishi to recite the whole chapter. Is it
Thank
okay,
you.
ma'am?
Thank you, Sunita. So we'll do the
So, mala of 9, verse 9 and 10. Suhrun mitraryudasina मध्यस्थस्त्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते योगी यज्ञेत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः. Jai Gurudev. So we will have meditation for 10 minutes. Everyone can sit comfortably and start meditation. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev.
Sunita,
Jai Gurudev.
Ghanshyam
Yes,
ji is
sir.
doing? Manish. Okay. So
I'll
after that,
continue.
okay, then he'll do the chapter.
Six, yes, ma'am. घनश्याम जी
जी दीदी जय गुरुदेव।
आप करेंगे या मनीष?
जी 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 जी
या चैप्टर 6 का
जी दीदी।
षष्ठ अध्याय का अध्ययन शुरू कीजिए, उसके बाद शांति पाठ कीजिएगा।
जी दीदी।
जय गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव। ओम पार्थाया प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुषं दधामि भगवत् गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः आत्मसंयमयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अनाश्रितः कर्मफलं कार्यं कर्म करोति यः स सन्न्यासी च योगी च न निरग्निर्न च क्रियः यं सन्न्यासमिति प्राहुर्योगं तं विद्धि पाण्डव न ह्यसन्न्यस्तसङ्कल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन आरुरुक्षोर्मुनिर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते यदा हीनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्वनुसज्जते सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदुच्यते उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुर् आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मनः जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत् जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः ज्ञानविज्ञानतिक्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टास्मकाञ्चनः सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीनम् अध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरमासनमात्मनः नायुच्छित्तं नातिनीचं शैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम् तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात् योगमात्मविशुद्धये समं कायशिरो ग्रीवं धारयन्नचलं स्थिरः सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं दिशश्चानवलोकयन् प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिर्ब्रह्मचारिभिः स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो युक्त आसीत् मत्परः युञ्जन्नैवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति नात्यश्ननस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनस्नतः न चातिस्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वाप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनयतं चित्तम् आत्मन्यैवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियं वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तं विद्यात् दुःखसंयोगं वियोगं योगसंहितं निश्चयेन योक्तव्यो योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा संकल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनसेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य शमं ततः शनैः शनैः परमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् यतो यतो निश्चरति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरं ततस्ततो नियम्येता आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत् प्रशान्तमनसं येनं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम् उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषं युञ्जन्नैवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वास्थितं स्थिराम् चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण भ्रमाति बलवदृढम् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते असंशयात्मना योगो दुष्प्रापैति मे मतिः पश्चात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः अर्जुन उवाच अयति शुद्धयोपेतो योगाच्चलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टश्छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण छेत्तुमर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्या संशयस्यास्य छेत्ता न ह्युपपद्यते श्रीभगवानुवाच पार्थ नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते न हि कल्याणकृत् कञ्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वतिः क्षमाः शुचीनां श्रीमतां केः योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमता एतद्धि दुर्लभतरं लोके जन्म यदीदृशं तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकं यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्यते ह्यवशोऽपिशः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेकजन्म संशुद्धस्ततो याति परां गतिं तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद्योगी भवार्जुन योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः। ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः। ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। हरि ओम आद्यो शांतिरंतरिक्षगुं शांतिः पृथिवी शांतिरापः शांतिरोपदयः शांतिः वनस्पतयः शांतिर्विश्वे देवाः शांतिर्ब्रह्म शांतिः सर्वगुं शांतिरेव शांतिः क्षमा शांतिः यतो यतः समीहसे ततो नो अभयं कुरु शन्यः गुरुप्रजाभ्यो भयं नः पशुभ्यः भवतु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव। धन्यवाद घनश्याम जी। आप आज बहुत ही स्लो गए और हम आपके साथ रिसाइट कर रहे थे, हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा आज। धन्यवाद।
तो
जय
सुनीता वी
गुरुदेव।
कॉल इट, अभी हम सबसे आज्ञा लेते हैं, अपना क्लास को क्लोज करते हैं और थैंक यू बोलते हैं घनश्याम जी को, वैदिक पंडित्स को, मनीष जी को, थैंक यू वेरी वेरी मच। और टू टेल द ग्रुप दैट द सेम लिंक विल बी यूज्ड अगेन फॉर नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे।
यस यस,
सो
आई स्पोक टू
किसी को
सचिन
भी,
सर।
हाँ, सचिन ने हमको बताया है, he has told us that this link will continue. I think till chapter 6 we will continue with the same link.
Yes.
So each member of a group should go on to this link, click it and join it. So this is one. And secondly, we will continue with the further verses, and it would be very nice if somebody else could also add to the main points or some more interaction. See, Marcia was so lovely. Then you learn more and more from each other. So that would be great. And thank you, Sunita. You're such a life-saving for me when I didn't have this. Thank you so much. And all of us who have joined in the Maharishi family for this Gita Satsang, thanks a lot. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Anitaji. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We will end the session today, 8:55, but I think it's okay. Jai Gurudev.
जय गुरुदेव। जय गुरुदेव दीदी।
जय गुरुदेव घनश्याम जी। जय गुरुदेव मनीष जी। जय गुरुदेव।